10 years ago, when I lost my dad, nobody talked about it. And it was a really hard time. It was a really lonely time because we all just did what we needed to do to get through it. And all I wanted to do was talk, and nobody wanted to do that. So when I found Kevin's song, I found a place to connect with people in a safe space to talk about, my grief and just kind of my journey through this.
I was introduced to Kevin's song in March of 2017. I had the opportunity to meet with a therapist the morning after my husband suicided. She gave me the program from the 2016 conference, and I reached out to Gail and asked if there was anyone who could possibly come and speak at my husband's funeral. So Leo came to speak, and I think he brought a lot of peace to a lot of people. None of us really realized that Rick, my husband, was that ill, and so it came as a great shock to everyone. And then from that point, Gail was lovely and had called me and reached out, and I knew that I was going to need to get involved.
My wife Gail and I co-founded Kevin's Song after losing our son to suicide in March of 2013. Like many of the people you'll meet during the course of this weekend, Gail and I responded to our grief by deciding to do something about the suicide epidemic. This conference is one of the results of that decision, and we're thrilled and grateful for all of us to be here this weekend.
I think that there's hope. I think the more we talk about it, the more it will be addressed, and there will be hope that lives will be saved.
It can feel lonely sometimes because the subject is so heavy and serious, but to get together with a conference like this and all the folks who are here to contribute, to support, to learn, it really feels like you're part of a larger picture. And that's really inspiring and motivating.
As a researcher, I often go to conferences and present data, statistics, and it's very cold sometimes. And so here I have the opportunity to talk about research and best practices, but actually think about how this can be applied in the real world.
As clinicians, it's one thing to know the research, but it's another thing to experience the life experience. And so we've been able to marry those two in a way that I think people find valuable.
Caring matters a lot. Caring about one another matters a lot. Small doses of caring about one another can take somebody from a catastrophic level of risk down a notch or two. And that can be the difference between life and death.
We don't have all the answers, and I do believe that we learn more when we share our stories and when we speak to one another. And it starts with a conversation. Kevin's Song has started this conversation in this community and beyond.
The more that we can talk about it and get people to the places they need to be, whether it's for prevention or just even the support network for people such as myself, who have to pick up the pieces afterward and, continue living. I think it's really important to let them know they're not alone and to help provide resources that can help get through the dark days and share stories.
And I believe the more people know, the better they are aware of picking up on the signs that you may notice in somebody that you love, that you may notice in your neighbor or your neighbor's kids or your kids' friends. And I think if we are all aware of what to look for and we're kind of like all eyes on deck, that we can create a community where we're looking out for each other.